Want better clients who pay your high ticket prices without even batting an eye? I'll show you the three messaging strategies that attract high ticket buyers on this week's episode. Now, hey, and welcome back to the Business Real Talk. I'm so excited to share with you exactly how you can transform your message into a movement that gets those high ticket buyers saying yes without any hesitation. And make sure that you stick around because I'm going to give you a first look at my new messaging intensive that will turn you from unknown to unforgettable. So let's get real. Your messaging right now is falling flat. You've got amazing results for clients in your program. You're on top of your game, but somehow your messaging is still just not cutting it. You want your messaging to showcase the level of expertise that your clients can't stop talking about. And you want your messaging to bring you high ticket clients that see paying you as an investment that will change their lives or their businesses. And you want your messaging to make you so irresistible that your audience will turn on the notifications so they don't miss anything that you're sharing. And when you understand these three things, you can see results like my clients have, results like selling a brand new 60K offer with just one story on Instagram and one email to a list of just 1,000 people, or selling a $200 program to clients who constantly said they couldn't afford it, only to raise her prices to 5K and have the same people lining up to pay her. So let me introduce you to what I call the fire messaging triangle. So this came to me when I recently heard that fire needs three things. It needs friction or heat, fuel, and oxygen. Those are the three things that really allow it to not only be created in the first place, but be able to grow. And I thought to myself, this is exactly what your messaging needs as well. So let's go ahead and dive into the three elements of fire messaging. Number one is disruptive thinking. You have to be able to bring the heat and create some friction in your message. This is where you shake things up and bring your disruptive thinking to the forefront. Now, listen, right now, you're probably playing it safe. You're educating, you're inspiring, and you're informing your audience, but you're wearing kid gloves. You're trying to soften the blow of what you're really thinking behind closed doors. Now, disruptive thinking does two things. Number one, it cuts the fluff. High intent leads don't want to dig to find out and figure out what you're trying to say. What they want is to hear you speak or read a piece of content and within just seconds know that, dang, that's exactly what I needed to hear. The reality is right now, you're probably filling your message with fluff, trying to sound fancy, adding too much jargon, or trying to prove your authority. And we see this happen so often with people who are using filler language like superlatives and meaningless add-ons that don't actually add value to the actual message. Now, what you need to hear is that lean messaging wins. It allows you to get across what you're saying in the least amount of effort or energy required from you and from your prospective client. Now, the second piece of the puzzle of disruptive messaging is that it actually challenges the norms. Now, we're all tired of the same thing being said in slightly different ways. You're an innovator, and it's time to show up and challenge the industry norms. So if you're tired of hearing people glorify dieting when it comes to weight loss, when you know that it's actually about balancing hormones, talk about it. If you're sick of other gurus who scam someone out of thousands by telling them that all they need is to run a huge ad campaign when your $1 ad approach is scaling thousands of businesses, preach it. And if you want to crush the narrative that you can't heal arthritis pain without NSAIDs, and you want to be able to speak up that plant medication and gentle exercise have damn near healed arthritis with your clients, it's time to speak up. The start of every movement starts with disrupting the norms and creating a new shift in thinking. So I want you to ask yourself, what do I stand for? What are the common concepts in my industry that I'm against or that I want to change beliefs around? This is the starting point of creating a fire messaging strategy that catches on, but also brings in those high intent, high ticket clients who instantly understand that you're the answer to them. This is what brings the heat. Now that we understand what brings the heat, it's time to talk about what actually gets you to create the fuel. Now, when I was 21, I had worked my way up in a high level marketing job. And I was on top of the world. I really felt like I had made it. I worked my way and done everything I possibly could. And I realized that in order to show that I had made it, I wanted to buy myself a Gucci bag that I'd always wanted. So I walked into the mall with my head held high. I asked for that $1,200 bag and I put it on my shoulder and handed over my credit card. I walked out of that store with so much confidence that I walked taller. I stopped thinking about what people thought of me. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I finally made it. I wasn't buying a leather bag with silver buckles and a logo. I was buying confidence. I was buying a representation of my success, and I was buying a feeling. I was buying a shift from being a child to becoming a woman. And listen, you and I both know that what you're doing is beyond life changing. But right now, your messaging is making it sound like you're small potatoes. Now, to fuel your fire messaging and elevating that is for you to be able to speak to and solve for high value outcomes instead of those pesky low value outcomes that you've been stuck talking about. Now, when you're talking about high intent, high ticket buyers, they pull their money out and they put it where their mouth is. They know exactly what they want and they're willing to pay handsomely to get it. And when your messaging can actually communicate the high value outcomes, you increase your perceived value and clients will happily pay more for your services. So let's talk about how to speak to high value outcomes to fuel your messaging and attract more of those high ticket buyers. Now, here's the 2 questions I want you to jot down right now. Number 1 is, what is the job they want to have done? This is the thing that they believe they need right now. Okay. And number 2 is, what will doing this job allow them to be able to do or achieve? So let me give you some examples so you can see the difference and understand why so many people are focusing more on the job that people want done rather than what that job allows them to do. So an example of a job they may want done as a social media strategist is that they want social media content. Now, what this job will allow them to do is get clients consistently so they can retire their husband. Now, that high value outcome isn't social media content, it's signing clients consistently so they can retire their husband. That's the high value outcome that people will pay more to actually be able to achieve. Now, let's use a different example. Let's say that you're a confidence coach and the job that they want done is to feel more confident on camera. Maybe right now that's what you're selling to them. But what I want you to ask yourself is, what will this job allow them to do? It will allow them to land major speaking opportunities so they can travel the world and get paid to speak. So your job is to speak to how you solve for that high value outcome that makes a leather purse that could otherwise cost $300 to become a $1,200 coming of age testament to success. This is where your ability to increase your perceived value without actually changing anything lies. It's an understanding what the high value outcome is that your prospective client deeply desires. When we understand this and can then communicate that within our messaging, it creates this instant understanding that what you're selling is so much more than just social media content or feeling confident on camera. It allows you to accomplish the big, huge outcomes that you never thought possible. Because let's get real, if I were to pay someone for social media content, I probably don't want to spend a couple $1,000s. But if instead I'm actually supporting them and being able to get clients consistently so they can retire their husbands, now all of a sudden I'm ready and willing to shell out thousands of dollars a month. This is the difference in understanding a high value outcome and being able to create the fuel that turns a message into fire, which leads us to the third and final piece of the puzzle. Now, we've built the 2 legs of the fire messaging triangle, but it's the oxygen that breathes life into your message and turns a flicker into a flame and then a whole damn wildfire. The oxygen in your message is your innovation. You didn't think I was just going to skip that, did you? After all, innovation is in my blood. And let's be real, you know it's in yours too. You stop at nothing to create change, and you built this business that creates the change that you wish existed for yourself or for those around you. And innovation isn't something that you just keep a secret. It's the oxygen that gives you life and gives your audience life as well. And it's exactly what it does with your messaging too. So let's talk about innovation within your messaging. Now, right now, your high ticket clients are tired of hearing the same old way of doing things. They're begging for change. Meanwhile, you're sitting here undercover as the best kept secret out there because you don't know how to communicate the innovation that comes inherently to you, that happens without you even thinking twice when you work with your clients. Now, your prospects, your high ticket clients, they're searching for the needle in the haystack, that innovation that only an innovative authority can give to them, a transformation that they spent so much time, money, and energy on trying to create. This is why the first thing I do with my clients inside the Sustainable Profit Academy is defining their innovative gap methodology. Because this isn't just about making your marketing sound fancy and different. It's about bringing out your innovation and then creating a message that backs that up. Messaging that communicates that innovation is what turns your message into a billboard of instant authority and people come running to and tell everyone about. And people can spend an entire lifetime trying to define their innovation, and businesses spend billions trying to develop it, all in hopes of creating that instant authority and demand. But our approach is different. Rather than trying to find innovation like a needle in a haystack, we use an engineered and client-centric approach that identifies innovation by first defining the market gaps. Because it's in these gaps where we see the opportunities are and identify and define where your methodology solves for that gap. This eliminates the lengthy process of hypothesizing innovation and instead makes it methodical, so that what has taken companies decades to do, we're able to accomplish in just 30 to 45 days. Now, once we've identified that innovation gap, that's where now we can craft the messaging that bridges the gap by specifically speaking to what that gap is and the effects of that gap. It's like the secret sauce, the honeypot that makes premium high ticket clients instant believers, because innovators don't get compared to non-innovators. And right now, the reality is your messaging is most likely being compared against hundreds, if not thousands of other opportunities and competitors who are out there. Now, when you become the innovator, you no longer get compared to that. You become the standard, and your messaging isn't just about bringing in clients. It starts a whole damn movement, one that people are grateful for and will pay handsomely for, because you become the gift that people are waiting for. This is why it's so important to not only define that innovation, but be able to craft a message that allows you to articulate that in a way that's repeatable over and over again. And you've heard me say it a million times, but the key to truly having that innovation that really rocks people to their core is knowing how to connect that through your message to what they truly care about. It's the connection of those two things that truly brings about that movement. And this is exactly what the EZS method allows my clients to accomplish. We're able to first identify where your innovative advantage is and create a clear and compelling, repeatable message that identifies that gap in the marketplace and bridges it with what only your innovation is able to do. This is what I call the innovative gap methodology, and allows my clients to create a market of one where they become the incomparable and only solution and are able to charge 5 to 10 times more and have clients happily line up to pay them. And the second step in the process is actually how we amplify that innovation, because everything is built around the innovation we've created. Your messaging, your marketing, your sales are all based inside of that innovation. It's what creates that demand rather than having you chase it. This is what led to the creation of our bingeable sales system. It's the only system of its kind that leverages a bingeable process to get your leads to be able to sell themselves by mimicking how they naturally make decisions. This is what eliminates the need for you chasing down leads or trying to convince ever again, and instead get your leads to sell themselves. Now, the third step of the process is what we call the pure profit strategy. This is where we actually turn the movement you've created into pure profit, because your two best leads are the clients you already have and the referrals your clients bring you. This is what allows you to deliver world-class results to your clients at scale, so that your clients turn into your most fanatic sales team by prioritizing retention for long-term success and profit, so that you can scale your revenue while scaling your credibility in the marketplace. And I want to share with you how we've decided to solve the gap in the marketplace of struggling with being able to create messaging that really speaks to our high intent, ready to buy leads. That's why we're bringing to you our 30-day group intensive to go from unknown to unforgettable. This intensive will allow us to support you in not only crafting the messaging that speaks directly to your high intent leads, but knowing exactly how to communicate your value in a way that makes it instantly understood, no questions asked. If you want to learn a little bit more about our messaging intensive, so send us a message over on Instagram at Next Level Up CEO with the word intensive, and we'll share more about what this looks like. And as always, if you want to learn exactly how we apply the EZS method within your business, I want to invite you to a growth optimizer call. On this call, you and I will sit down. I'll identify for you where your biggest market gaps are and how we actually can use our EZS method to solve it. If you're ready to take that next step and apply for your call, head on over to ezsleads.com/call. And as always, if you want to hear a little bit more about how our methodology works, I want to invite you to check out our Netflix Effect mini-series, where we break down exactly how we use this 3-step process to get leads to sell themselves. Head on over to ezsleads.com to check out the mini-series. But until next time, here's to keeping it real.